If you've been wondering whether or not I have a yellow shirt, the answer is yes. I'm Bill Snodgrass. Welcome to episode 84. In this video on adolescent and young adult relationships, we're going to talk about arguing, particularly how you can lose an argument and become a winner. If you're in a romantic relationship, there are going to come points in that relationship where the two of you will disagree. That's just inevitable. That's part of life. And how you handle those disagreements is very, very important. The way that you handle the disagreements in any kind of a relationship, it just says a whole lot about the potential for that relationship to go on. So in this video, I'm gonna talk about when you have conflict and when you have differences and then when you have offense, which is when conflict has gotten to a certain point or where disagreement has gotten to a certain point that you have offense. The first thing to keep in mind when you have differences of opinion is that everybody's entitled to an opinion. And couples don't have to share the same opinion about everything. A lot of differences of opinion are perfectly compatible with each other. Vanilla ice cream, chocolate ice cream, whipped cream, no whipped cream, okay. You get the point. So differences of opinion are no big deal. That's just everybody has an opinion. Everybody's entitled to an opinion. You can't judge the other person or make the other person feel less than based on their opinion, especially in matters like that are trivial as that. So find a way to just embrace the differences. And there's an old poem that was something about Jack Sprat could eat no fat, his wife could eat no lean. So they're different. She doesn't eat lean meat, he doesn't eat fat. So between the two of them, the plate was always clean. See, they took their differences and that, yeah, I just used a nursery rhyme. I just used the nursery rhyme in a relationship video. What's the world coming to? Number two, if there is something that you disagree in, now this is where the clickbait title comes in. Is it more important to work it out, or do you want to win the argument? Now this is a big question, and everybody's going to go, well, of course we want to work it out. And I'm like, no. And in my experience in doing relationship counseling, which is it's not vast, but it's also non-trivial, a lot of people would rather win the argument than work it out. They would rather be right than reconciled. And if you want to be right more than you want to be reconciled, then obviously something about you is more important than the relationship. You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Think about that. I feel a little preachy here, got the finger wagging. Look, do you want to work it out, or do you just want to be right? And I've seen this over and over and over and over again. Things like how to hang the tools in the garage, how to load the dishwasher. This is one of those things is like, oh my gosh. And I understand. I mean, I'm kind of like spatially oriented. I can look at the dishwasher and go, that bowl's in the wrong place. But would I rather create conflict or just let the bowl be in the wrong place? Do you want to win the argument? A couple I counseled years and years ago, the wife always had been like, by her family, had been like pushed into this box of you have to do everything exactly right. And so her husband was more like, I'm just going to get the towels folded up, make them small, put them in the closet. She was like, no, you're not doing it right. And it took her a long time before she could move off of that point, that she would rather preserve the relationship. And I don't know, he was doing this and then this and then this, and she wanted him to do this and then this and then this. I don't know. It was like you're fighting over how you fold towels. Do you want to be right, or do you want to work out the relationship? And if you want to work out the relationship, sometimes you need to just say, okay, we differ in opinion on this, but it doesn't matter. Now I see this in a lot of young high school kids. I see this in a lot of young kids where they will differ on something and it'll be trivial, and that will be the end of the relationship. And it's okay if it's a big point. It's like, I believe that and they're adamantly about this, and the other's like, I don't believe that at all. And this person can't move to that point, and that person can't move to that point. You're destined. You're on different roads. Your train's on different tracks, and you're passing in the night. Do you want to be right, or do you want to work out the relationship? If it's so important that you have to be right, and it's more important than the relationship, then bless you and go forth. If the relationship is more important, it's like, I can't believe you put the peanut butter on the bread first. Jelly goes on first, and then the peanut butter. See the difference? You know, if it's like a moral, ethical life value versus some trivial piece of, okay, do you want to be right, or do you want to work out the relationship? So that's the first major thought here. Now, things happen in relationships, and you get to a point where there is this realization that you are offended. There is something that the other person is doing that is offensive to you. The next thing I want to talk about is when you come to that point in the relationship, when you come to that point where something is going on and there is a feeling of offense, there's a feeling of hurt, there's a feeling of whatever, betrayal, hurt, being overlooked, being under respected, being undervalued. Something has happened and someone's feelings are hurt. And it's usually not just like a one thing, but it's usually like this has happened a couple times. And now this becomes very, very difficult. It's like, what should you do in a situation where there is offense? So this is what most people do. I've seen this. I saw this 5 times this past year. Kids coming up in their lockers, and one kid will go up to the other kid and it's like, "You made me so mad." No, you didn't. The other person didn't make the first person mad. The first person reacted to what the other person did with anger. The other person can't control you. You can't control the other person. Now, what immediately happens when someone comes up to you and goes, "You made me so mad," and they're waving their finger at you? You immediately get defensive. And you go, "Well, I didn't do anything. It's not my fault." It probably is your fault. Or maybe it isn't your fault. Who knows? But let's say it is your fault. But if they tell you and they're waving their finger at you, the first thing you're going to do, you're gonna put up your defenses. You're going to hold up that shield and you're going to hide behind it, because that is how we stay alive, and that's how we stay healthy. Is we have these defense mechanisms, one of which is this psychological defense against attack. Our brain doesn't like to be put into a tension position. It likes to stay at equilibrium, and so we defend ourselves. Now, we don't want that to happen unless you want to end the relationship. The other person has done something, and my reaction to that is that I feel hurt, I feel sad, I feel angry, I feel mad, something. Here is the formula for introducing that situation that has caused some kind of an emotional hurt. Instead of starting with "you," blah, 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 start with "I." And so, college situation. Let's say you're in college, you're a young adult, and the other person ditched you. You were gonna go to get some wings and something or whatever. Instead, they met up with their same-sex friends and went and did something, and then they ended up doing something. "You always abandon me." Right? That's not helpful. But if you start the situation with "I" instead of "you," and you can start with when something happens, "I feel blah, 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 because it blah, 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 blah," and this is what it would look like. When you leave me at the dorm, mall, whatever, when you don't call me So let's just say, let's do the college example. When you leave me at the dorm by myself, I feel like I'm not important, because it seems to me that choosing your friends over me brings me down. Now, by starting with the I statement, immediately, if you're in a relationship with someone and they start to tell you about their distress, you immediately want to protect them and rescue them. If you don't, then you need to consider why you're in that relationship. So when someone says, I feel hurt when, you immediately are like, you feel hurt, I want to take the hurt away. So you can do I feel when, or you can say when I feel. Probably better to start with I feel. I feel like I'm not important when you choose your friends instead of me. Now you've got the you choose your friends. You always choose your friends instead of me. Defensive. I feel hurt when you choose your friends instead of me, because I think that if I were important enough, you would choose me. Now, if it's a one-time isolated thing, the person is like, oh, I understand completely. That was just this one-time thing. We had to do this, whatever. You understand the point. If it's a multiple pattern, then the feeling of hurtness is probably more defensible. Yeah, you might have something going on there. But if you come out and say, you always choose your friends over me, blah, you're on the attack, that makes the other person on the defense. And this is not going to lead to reconciliation. Remember, this kind of goes back to, do you want to be right or do you want to reconcile the relationship? If you want to reconcile the relationship, you've got to go into it with a reconciliation mentality. I feel when. Now, this could go on forever. It's probably about time to bring this one to a close. So this is it. This is my summary on the offense moment. When there is an offense in the situation, in the relationship, start with I feel when, and if there is a rational because, I feel like you don't think cleaning the bathroom is important because every time you come out, it's a wreck. I feel like I'm not valued because very frequently, instead of coming home for dinner, you will get fast food and work at the office until late at night. I feel when because. If you can do that formula, if you can say, okay, we're fixing to fight, we're fixing to have it's coming, we're going, and you say, okay, but my attack method is going to be to disarm them first. That's good. I think that's martial arts something. Disarm the other guy. So and this is not manipulative. This is honest and loving. It's honest and loving. I feel honest when. Because if you can do that formula in times of conflict and disagreement and hurt. Now you go back to the should we go here or should we go here? Where are we going to go on vacation? That's a debate. Nobody should get their feelings hurt over a debate. But I'm talking about in this formula, I feel when. But a debate can quickly ultimately get to hurt feelings. If someone feels unheard or disvalued or something, is disvalued a word? Devalued, undervalued. If someone feels that way, it can quickly get to hurt. That's the video. That's this. Do you want to win? Do you want to be right, or do you want to reconcile? If your feelings are hurt, how can you approach that? I feel when because. That's how you lose arguments and come out a winner, because you've won, you've reconciled the relationship. I am way over this. This is probably going up on 15 or something minutes now. Let me get out of here. This is in the Adolescent Young Adult Relationship series. There's quite a few of these now, and I might make a little sub playlist for them. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell. share this with someone else. You may share this with, maybe you want to share this with the person you're in a relationship with and said, hey, let's adopt this approach. Let's adopt this approach. Hey, here's a side point. This same I feel when because, you can use that with your boss. You don't want to go in attacking your boss. You never are, right? You can use the same thing. I feel like you're blah 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 blah, right? It's a good reconciliation technique for any kind of relationship. All right, that was for free. You get that for free. I think I did the like, subscribe, share, comment, notifications. So that means it's time to say thank you and see you in the next episode.